It took me about 60 days to go from zero, dead broke, no money in the bank, to making $10,000 in a single month with my lead generation agency. And honestly, if I knew what I knew back in 2022 when I first got started, I would have gotten there so much faster. Because almost anyone can start a lead generation agency and scale it to $10,000 a month by following the 7 steps, which I'll be outlining in today's video. And don't worry, I'm not going to be selling you on a course on how to make more money and charge you thousands of dollars. I'm simply here to share with you what I've learned after going from zero to $10,000 in 60 days and making an average of $50,000 per month over the last several months with my own lead generation agency. So actually, before we get to step 1, we first need to start at step 0. Which is understanding why a lead generation agency is the best business model to start as a complete beginner. Now, the first is that this doesn't require thousands of dollars upfront. You only really need a few $100s to invest into tools, to invest into the software, but aside from that, you really don't need much more than that. Now, the next is that this will always be in demand. What we're doing is we're helping business owners generate leads, and we are solving the largest problem that a business can face: how and where to find the next customers and find the next clients. Now, on top of this, there are over 3 million B2B businesses in the US alone, meaning there are millions more if we expand that to other countries all around the world, and all of them needs more customers and needs more clients. So regardless of world events, regardless of recessions, regardless of anything else, they will always need more leads. And finally, this is, and I'm not joking, this is the simplest business model to start. You don't need to learn a bunch of other things or master a bunch of complex skills. With a lead generation agency, you only need to learn one thing, and that one thing is how to generate leads by using cold emails. You will be using cold emails to first find a client for yourself, then you are doing the exact same thing to help your clients generate leads. So that brings us to step 1, picking a niche. And this is where most people kind of just get stuck, because while all of this sounds exciting, they actually don't know who they should sell their lead generation services to. But I'm here to tell you, don't overthink this, because remember, every single business needs more leads and needs more clients. And the only thing you really need to consider is to make sure that they're selling the products or selling their services to another business. It has to be B2B. So it can't be a plumber selling to homeowners, or it can't be a real estate agent helping people buy and sell homes. It can't be a gym that sells gym memberships to every other person. I remember when I first got started, I literally wasted over 2 weeks trying to find the perfect niche, and looking back at it, that was a complete waste of time, because you could literally ask ChatGPT to give you a list of B2B industries. Remember, don't overthink this. Just pick a niche that literally just stands out to you from the get-go, do some research to understand how it works, and then move on to step 2, which is crafting an offer. So when people or businesses ask you, "So John, what do you do?" What are you going to say? Well, the answer to that is what is called an offer. Essentially, you're positioning your lead generation services in a way that is appealing to business owners in your target niche. Because businesses aren't buying lead generation services because they love cold emails. No, they're just not. They are looking to achieve a very specific outcome, and cold emails is just a specific channel that will help them to achieve this. So we already established that we're helping businesses to generate more leads and to find new clients, and we're doing that with cold emails. Call that out in your offer. But the key is you want your offer to be specific. You want it to have a clear, measurable end result, and it needs to have a very clear time frame. You want to find out all of these details from the research that you did in step 1. But an example of an offer would be, we help marketing agencies generate 5 to 10 leads in the next 30 days. Now notice how specific that is, and how theoretically a 5th grader could literally read that and understand who you help, what you do. And here's a secret tip. When you're first starting out, you probably won't have case studies or any testimonials. Make sure you include a guarantee into your offer to make your offer just way more compelling. And it doesn't even need to be a "I will refund you" guarantee. It doesn't have to be a money back guarantee. It could be a work for free guarantee. It could be a satisfaction guarantee. There's honestly a bunch out there. So to help you craft an offer, here is a template that you can use. We help X get Y in time frame. Step 3, setting up your email accounts. So how are we actually generating leads for ourselves and for your clients? Well, if you guessed cold emails, you are right. But remember, we are pitching random business owners on a service which literally costs thousands of dollars. So we need to make sure that we look professional, because a regular @gmail.com or @outlook.com email address is simply not going to cut it. You will need a professional domain, and you could go and buy these at domain providers such as Porkbun or GoDaddy. And once that's done, you want to set up a Microsoft Outlook account for each of these domains. Now, it's important to note that in order for your cold emails to actually get replies, it first needs to actually land in the inbox. So have you ever noticed that spam folder in your email provider that you just never really check? Well, if you don't set up your domains and you don't set up your email accounts correctly, all the cold emails that you will send will go straight to the spam folder, meaning people won't actually see it and won't actually reply. So a massive component to making sure that your emails land in the inbox is to actually spread out your total emails sent across multiple domains and multiple email accounts. Now, the general rule of thumb is you can safely send somewhere between 50 and 100 emails per one domain. And if you want to see results quickly, you want to send hundreds, if not thousands, of emails per day. Volume negates luck, and obviously the person sending 1,500 cold emails a day will get significantly different results than the person who is only sending 50 per day. But before you send any cold emails, you want to do something that's called warming up your email accounts, and that process is 14 days. Essentially, you're slowly ramping up your emails because it'll look pretty suspicious if you just started blasting a bunch of emails all of a sudden. And you can use a tool such as Instantly.ai or Smartly.ai to do this. Step 4, getting your leads list. So during the 14 days, while your email accounts are warming, there are a couple things that we want to be doing. Now, the first of these things is to build your leads list of people who you will then go to email. Because based on the niche that you picked in step 1, we want to be emailing specific people inside of a niche. So to sell lead generation, we're going to be sending emails to the CEO, to the founder, to the co-founder, to the head of sales, to the head of business development. And this is actually a really simple process because all we need to do is use a database such as Apollo.io to help us do this. On Apollo, you can play around with the filters and target specific people based on job titles, company size, company location, and specific niches. And this is actually a pretty simple process, and it will take you literally 30 minutes max to complete. Step 5, writing a cold email. Arguably the most important step, because we are first sending cold emails to land a client for ourselves, then we are doing the exact same thing for our clients. Now, I can't stress this enough. Writing good cold emails is a skill, and the very first time you do something, it won't be your greatest. Think about the first time that you ever drove a car, or the first time you ever cooked your favorite meal. Now, the exact same thing applies. However, there are 3 things that you want to keep in mind in order to write a cold email that is actually half decent. The first is to keep it simple. Now, the worst thing that you can do is to write an overly complex email that literally reads like a paragraph straight out of a book. Now, the data suggests that the best cold emails are all under 50 words and can be skimmed through within 20 seconds or less. The second thing is make sure you're clear with what you are trying to say. Make sure that your emails are easy to understand, and similar to your offer, write it in a way where a 5th grader could read it and can understand what your message is. And the third thing is don't add fluff and don't add filler words. Hope you're having an amazing day, John. How was your weekend? Don't say things like this in your cold email. Make sure that every single word used in your email actually adds value to the conversation. Again, keep it simple. Now, every successful cold email has 2 major components. The first is your offer, and the second is your call to action. What you're doing is you're using the offer you created from step 2 to explain to business owners how you can help them and what they can expect from working with you. After that, you're essentially making your ask. Essentially, what is your next step? So as an example, here's a cold email to marketing agencies. Hi John, reaching out because we help marketing agencies generate 5 to 10 leads in the next 30 days. Are you free for a quick chat on Thursday or on Friday to chat about this in more detail? Simple, right? Notice how simple, notice how clear, and notice how short this cold email is. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of different techniques and a bunch of different strategies. And again, this is a skill, but at least in the beginning, keep it as simple as possible. Step 6, the sales call. So now that we're sending cold emails to businesses pitching our lead generation services, businesses are going to reply back to your email and be interested in chatting with you to learn more about how everything works in detail. Now, this is a sales call and it will take place on either a Zoom or a Google Meet. And I know while this might sound a little bit daunting, especially if you never sold anything before, or you might be uncomfortable with the idea of selling, but it's really a simple conversation between you and the business owner. You're asking a few simple questions to learn more about their business. You're figuring out who they sell their products, who they sell their services to. You're figuring out how are they currently generating leads. And then once you have all of these details, you are then explaining how what your lead generation services fit into their business. Remember, the biggest problem business owners face is figuring out how to find new customers and how to generate more leads. And you are literally providing a solution to the problem. Kind of similar to how a doctor might prescribe you some medicine or might prescribe you some antibiotics if you have the flu. Now, you wouldn't be pressuring people into buying something that they just don't need or doing anything unethical, since you're literally helping people make more money. You're helping businesses make more revenue. So how much should you charge might be your next question. Now, for more context, my very first client, he paid me $3,000 and $250 for every lead that I generated for him. And that was without having any case studies or having any testimonials. Now, obviously, you can decide how much you want to charge and how much your service is worth, but the general pricing range that I would recommend would be somewhere between $1,500 to $3,000 plus $200 to $300 for every lead that you generate. This will give you all the room you need in order to cover all of your overhead costs. Plus, it gives you profit because you're being paid for every single lead you generate. And the best part is the better you become at this, the more money that you will make. It's literally that simple. Now, step 7, you want to repeat the process for your clients. Now, after you sign your first client, it's very important for you to get them results so that you can leverage this as a case study ASAP. Now, the good news is since you're using cold emails to generate leads and find a client for yourself, you should have a pretty decent understanding of how everything works. You literally did this for yourself. However, this time you are doing it for your clients. You're plugging in their offer, you're plugging in their case studies, and you're sending cold emails for them on their behalf. You essentially want to repeat the exact same process over and over and over again. And if you think about it, if a client pays you 2.5K, you really only need 4 of them to get to 10K per month. And this is possible to do within the next 90 days if you commit to the process and actually go all in. I mean, I did it in 60 days, so I'm proof that this is possible. Now, you're obviously not going to make 10K in a month in the next 90 days if you don't take this seriously, or you kind of just look at this as a get-rich-quick scheme. So these are the 7 steps you want to take to start your own lead generation agency. Now, of course, this video isn't meant to give you all the details. It's meant to be more of a high-level idea of how everything works. The first link in the bio is a full step-by-step guide where I break down each of these 7 steps in way more detail.